Sometimes it's not what people say that reveals who they are, but the little things they do, the subtle choices they make, and the way they carry themselves. If you really want to know the truth about people, you don't need them to spell it out. You just need to pay attention. Because the truth is always showing itself in 5 very clear ways. How someone treats people who can't do anything for them is one of the clearest windows into their true character, because it removes the possibility of personal gain or reward. It's easy to be kind to a boss, a wealthy friend, or someone who might open doors for you, but the real test of integrity comes when interacting with a stranger, an employee, or someone society often overlooks. The way a person treats a waiter, a janitor, a cashier, or someone asking for directions reveals if their kindness is genuine or if it is simply a performance when they think it matters. In those quiet interactions where they believe no one important is watching, the truth comes out. When a person lowers their voice, becomes impatient, or dismisses someone they see as beneath them, they're showing you who they really are. On the other hand, when someone offers respect, patience, and warmth to people who have nothing to give in return, it signals a deeper sense of humility and humanity that no resume or social standing can disguise. You can often tell more about a person's values in these small, unnoticed moments than you can in a formal introduction or polished speech. People may put effort into crafting how they appear in front of those they want to impress, but very few people spend time pretending to be decent toward those they think hold no value for them. That's why these interactions are so telling. They are effortless, instinctive, and unfiltered. Watch someone when they order at a restaurant. Do they look the server in the eye and speak with respect, or do they bark orders without acknowledgement? Observe them when they receive service that's slower than expected. Do they show patience and understanding, or do they snap and belittle? These subtle actions speak louder than any claim they might make about being kind, empathetic, or respectful. This doesn't just apply to strangers. It extends to the people closest to us, the ones we sometimes take for granted. Pay attention to how someone treats their family, especially those they may not need or lean on daily. Do they check in on a sibling who's struggling? Do they honor their parents even when no benefit comes from it? Do they show up for friends when it's inconvenient? These patterns reveal what's truly inside because they involve sacrifice, time, and attention with no obvious return. A person who is consistent in their care across all relationships demonstrates that their character isn't situational. It's rooted in principle. There's also something powerful about observing how people behave toward children or the elderly. Children offer no status. The elderly may not influence their social climb. Yet a gentle word, a patient explanation, or a respectful conversation shows that the person sees value in every human being, regardless of age, ability, or what they can provide. Someone who brushes off children, ignores the elderly, or treats them as inconveniences exposes an inner selfishness. On the other hand, someone who takes time to engage, listen, and honor them reflects empathy that cannot be faked. Think also about how people treat those who are in positions of service. Delivery drivers, hotel staff, customer support representatives, grocery clerks. These roles are essential, yet they're often invisible to those who only look upward in the social hierarchy. If a person consistently acknowledges these workers with gratitude, patience, and respect, it reveals that they see dignity in every role, not just the ones that appear powerful. If they dismiss, insult, or ignore these individuals, it tells you that their respect is conditional, not universal. Even in leadership positions, this truth remains. A leader's treatment of subordinates says more about them than any speech they give to stakeholders. Do they empower, encourage, and protect the people they lead, or do they exploit and demean them because they know those individuals lack the authority to push back? Leadership without compassion isn't leadership at all. It's domination disguised as authority. True character is revealed in how they treat those who are dependent on them, not those they're trying to impress. What makes this test so reliable is that it strips away the motive of personal gain. When someone interacts with a person who has no influence over their success, their raw instincts show up. They're not calculating, they're not strategizing, they're just being. And in that being, you'll see if their values are built on selfishness or sincerity. Someone who can show love, patience, and respect universally is someone whose character doesn't shift with circumstances. Someone who only shows kindness when it benefits them is showing you a transactional nature that will eventually surface in bigger ways. How someone handles conflict and disagreement reveals their level of maturity, self-control, and respect for others more clearly than almost anything else. It's one thing to get along when everything is smooth, when opinions align, and when no pressure exists, but it's during the moments of tension, when voices rise or perspectives clash, that the true self begins to surface. Some people approach conflict like a battlefield where the goal is to dominate, win, and crush the other person's point of view, while others see it as a bridge, a chance to understand, learn, and grow. The difference lies in whether the disagreement is treated as an attack or as an opportunity. This is where you see if pride rules them or if humility guides them. Conflict never lies because it strips away the polished surface and exposes what a person is really made of. Pay close attention to the words someone chooses in an argument. Do they reach for insults, sarcasm, and blame, or do they ask questions, clarify, and genuinely try to understand? The way someone communicates when emotions are running high reveals if they value connection over being right. A person who can stay calm under pressure, who doesn't let anger dictate every response, and who listens even when they disagree, demonstrates a strength that isn't about overpowering, but about respecting. On the other hand, when someone lashes out, interrupts constantly, or refuses to hear any perspective but their own, it shows that their priority is ego, not resolution. Another telling sign is how they handle disagreement with people they claim to love or respect. It's easy to preach kindness and patience to the world, but the truest test comes in the heat of personal conflict. Do they belittle a spouse in frustration? Do they dismiss a friend's feelings? Do they silence their child instead of listening? Those responses reflect whether their love is conditional and fragile or grounded and steady. People who genuinely care don't weaponize conflict against those close to them. They use it as a tool to deepen understanding and strengthen bonds. The ability to stay grounded during conflict isn't about avoiding passion or pretending emotions don't exist. It's about choosing not to let those emotions control behavior. Someone who can express frustration without cruelty, who can debate fiercely without disrespect, and who can disagree without dehumanizing is someone who understands that relationships matter more than winning arguments. That is a rare form of strength, one that builds trust over time. People remember less about the details of the disagreement and more about how they were treated during it. If they felt heard, respected, and valued, the relationship survives. If they felt dismissed, insulted, or attacked, the relationship erodes, no matter the outcome of the debate. It's also important to notice how someone acts once the conflict is over. Do they hold grudges, bring up past mistakes, and use disagreements as ammunition later, or do they move forward with forgiveness and perspective? The aftermath of conflict can be just as telling as the conflict itself. People who refuse to let go reveal insecurity and bitterness, while those who can reset and rebuild show emotional resilience and a genuine desire to keep the relationship intact. Conflict also shines a light on patience. Some people want to resolve everything immediately and will pressure others into agreeing just to ease their discomfort, while others are willing to give time and space, understanding that resolution doesn't always happen instantly. A patient person shows respect for the process and for the emotions involved, while an impatient one reveals their discomfort with vulnerability and lack of control. Think about how people in leadership roles handle pushback. A true leader doesn't silence dissent or punish those who disagree. They listen, weigh opinions, and show appreciation for different viewpoints, even if they don't accept them all. Leaders who react with defensiveness or hostility when challenged show insecurity and a fragile ego, while those who invite conversation and accept critique reveal a confidence rooted not in dominance but in self-awareness. Even in everyday life, these small conflicts show the same truth. Watch how someone reacts when another driver cuts them off, when a cashier makes a mistake, or when a coworker misunderstands instructions. Do they explode in frustration and overreaction, or do they show patience and perspective? Those everyday disagreements may seem small, but they mirror the same tendencies that will appear in bigger conflicts. How a person navigates disagreement shows what they value most: winning or understanding, ego or connection, control or growth. Their reactions, their tone, their patience, and their willingness to hear others all combine to tell a story about who they really are when things aren't easy. How someone reacts when the spotlight isn't on them says more about their authenticity than anything they do when eyes are watching. It's easy to perform kindness, humility, and confidence when the room is full, when applause is near, and when every move is noticed. But the truest version of a person shows up in the quiet spaces, in the unseen moments, and in the choices made without recognition. Some people thrive on attention not because they are genuinely good, but because being seen motivates them to act the part. The real test is what happens when the stage is empty and no audience is around. Do they still hold doors open, offer a kind word, or show respect when no one is there to praise them? Or do they only shine when the reward is validation? There's a striking difference between those who live for the spotlight and those who live by their principles regardless of attention. The person who does good only when it is noticed is driven by image, not integrity. They smile for the camera, give generously when the news is covering it, and speak eloquently when the microphone is on. But behind closed doors, they reveal an entirely different side. On the other hand, those who are the same in private as they are in public demonstrate a rare consistency that cannot be staged. Integrity is proven when behavior doesn't change with the presence or absence of attention. Consider the way people handle responsibility that no one else will ever know about. Do they cut corners because no one will notice? Or do they hold themselves to the same standard as if the whole world were watching? The person who stays late to finish the job thoroughly, even when no credit will be given, shows commitment that's internal rather than external. The student who studies diligently when no one is checking, the athlete who trains in the off-season when fans are absent, the employee who puts in effort without applause. These are examples of someone whose character is built on discipline, not performance. It's also worth observing how people treat others in those unnoticed moments. When the spotlight is on, many will show exaggerated kindness, making sure the world sees them being generous or helpful. But watch when the lights fade. Do they still greet the janitor at the end of the night? Do they still take time to listen to a friend who's struggling when there's no audience to admire their compassion? Do they still extend respect to strangers when the cameras aren't rolling? Those small acts in secret reveal whether kindness is a performance or a lifestyle. Reactions in the absence of attention also expose how someone handles humility. Some people only contribute when recognition is guaranteed, but genuine humility allows people to serve quietly without needing applause. The one who helps behind the scenes, who gives anonymously, or who supports others without demanding credit demonstrates a strength that can't be faked. When people are willing to remain invisible yet still pour their best into what they do, you see a deep authenticity that shines brighter than any spotlight could. Think about how people act when their work is overlooked. Do they grow bitter and resentful, or do they continue to show up with effort because they believe the work itself matters more than the recognition? A person's reaction to being unacknowledged reveals whether they are fueled by ego or by purpose. Those who require constant validation quickly lose steam when applause fades, but those who operate from conviction continue forward regardless of who notices. Even small daily interactions tell the story. The one who still says thank you when no one else does, who still follows through on promises that could easily be forgotten, who still shows respect when others drop their guard. Those are the actions that reveal genuine character. They're not trying to impress anyone, they're simply living out who they are. The absence of the spotlight also shows how people handle power. Some use the stage to appear generous and fair, but in the shadows they manipulate, cut corners, or treat others with disregard. True integrity means acting with the same level of honesty and respect even when it seems no one is watching. People who live this way prove that their values are not conditional but ingrained. Authenticity isn't proven by what someone does in public, but by who they are in private. The applause will fade, the lights will dim, and the audience will go home. But what remains is the person they are when the room is empty. Consistency when no one is watching is one of the most powerful indicators of who a person truly is because it strips away performance, pretension, and pressure. Anyone can act disciplined when accountability is high, when supervisors are nearby, or when friends are paying attention. But the real question is what they do in the quiet hours when nobody is checking. Character is not built in public. It is revealed in private. It is the decisions a person makes in solitude, the habits they keep when unseen, and the standards they hold themselves to even when there is no reward or recognition waiting at the end. That is the foundation of trust because consistency means dependability, and dependability is what makes relationships, careers, and reputations endure. Think about the person who sets an alarm and gets up early to pursue their goals even though no one will ever clap for them. That decision in the dark morning hours shows more about their drive than any motivational speech they might give. Consider the one who commits to studying, exercising, or practicing their craft day after day, not because someone is watching, but because they know the quiet work will eventually surface as visible results. This type of consistency is what separates those who only dream from those who actually achieve. It's not the single dramatic act that defines them, but the small, repeated choices done faithfully behind the curtain. Consistency in private also reflects integrity. When someone's behavior aligns with their values, even when no one else is around, it proves that those values are not a show. They are a conviction. A person who is honest only when watched is not truly honest. They are cautious. A person who is disciplined only when being evaluated is not truly disciplined. They are motivated by fear of consequence. But the person who keeps promises to themselves when no one would know if they broke them demonstrates a rare kind of strength. That's the type of consistency that builds inner confidence and earns long-term respect because it shows that their word can be trusted regardless of circumstance. It is also telling to observe how people handle temptations when no accountability exists. Do they cut corners, cheat, or take the easy way out when it seems safe? Or do they stay the course because they believe in doing what is right rather than what is convenient? These hidden decisions often reveal the true direction of their character. Over time, private inconsistency always spills into public life, but private consistency creates a foundation that others can lean on without fear of collapse. Relationships thrive on this principle as well. When someone shows consistency in their loyalty, kindness, and communication, even when apart, it builds security. Trust grows when people know they don't have to watch over someone to ensure faithfulness or effort. On the other hand, inconsistency in the unseen moments creates cracks that eventually widen into distrust and broken bonds. That's why consistency is not just a personal trait, but a relational necessity. Consistency in solitude also requires discipline, and discipline is often misunderstood. It's not about perfection or never missing a step. It's about showing up again and again, recommitting even after setbacks, and choosing steadiness over flashes of effort. It's about being the same person in private that you present in public, refusing to live a double life where one version is hidden and the other is performed. The more aligned these two selves are, the stronger the foundation becomes. Even in professional settings, consistency is what separates those who are trusted from those who are doubted. An employee who delivers only when monitored may appear reliable on the surface, but trust is always fragile. The one who delivers quality work in every circumstance, who keeps the same standards alone as they do under supervision, becomes someone others can count on without hesitation. That reputation doesn't come from dramatic gestures, but from steady faithfulness in the unseen details. Consistency when no one is watching also demonstrates patience with the process. It shows a willingness to keep working without instant gratification, to keep planting seeds without demanding immediate harvest. It takes humility to accept that progress often goes unseen for long stretches. But consistency is the bridge that carries people from obscurity to results. Those who quit when unnoticed will never reach the point where the quiet work blooms into visible success. When you strip it all down, what matters is not the effort that is displayed under the spotlight, but the effort maintained in silence. That is the truest measure of character, the truest proof of reliability, and the clearest predictor of long-term success in any area of life. How someone responds to other people's success exposes their heart in ways that no amount of words can cover, because it touches the core of pride, envy, gratitude, and humility all at once. Success has a way of stirring up hidden emotions. When someone else achieves what you wanted, earns recognition you hoped for, or reaches milestones you haven't, it can create an uncomfortable mirror that reveals whether you can truly celebrate others or whether comparison and resentment quietly take control. People may say they want the best for others, but the truth comes out in how they react when those around them rise higher, shine brighter, or move forward faster. If their first instinct is to criticize, minimize, or distance themselves, it reveals that their support was conditional and fragile. But if they can genuinely cheer, encourage, and stand alongside others without bitterness, it proves a level of strength and security that is rare and powerful. Jealousy often whispers in silence, but it shows itself in subtle reactions. Notice if someone's smile is genuine when others are recognized, or if their congratulations feel hollow. Pay attention to the small comments that follow someone else's good news. Do they respond with encouragement, or do they quickly shift the focus back to themselves? Do they celebrate with enthusiasm, or do they downplay the accomplishment by pointing out flaws or luck? These little signals tell you if they see another person's win as a threat to their own worth or as proof that success is possible for everyone. The ability to celebrate others is rooted in security. A person who knows their own value doesn't feel diminished when others succeed. They understand that someone else's light doesn't dim their own, that success is not a limited resource. Insecure people see life as a competition where only one can win, so they resent others' victories. Secure people see life as abundant and collaborative, so they cheer for others freely. This difference shows who truly has inner confidence and who only feels strong when they're on top. Think about friendships and family relationships. How many times have bonds been broken because one person couldn't handle the growth or achievement of another? A true friend doesn't disappear when you succeed. They stand even closer, proud and inspired. A family member who feels overshadowed may pull away instead of drawing near. These responses reveal whether love is built on equality and support or poisoned by comparison. The people who remain joyful in your success are the ones whose loyalty is genuine. In professional environments, this truth becomes even clearer. Colleagues who encourage your promotion, who clap for your recognition, and who admire your progress are the ones you can trust. Those who gossip, undermine, or secretly hope for your failure expose themselves without even realizing it. Success has a way of flushing out hidden envy, and the reactions people show in those moments are more telling than any words of loyalty they may have spoken before. There's also a difference between passive acceptance and active celebration. Some people may not openly show jealousy, but they also remain silent, unable to offer support or excitement. Genuine character shines in those who don't just tolerate others' success, but amplify it, who speak words of encouragement, who show up to support, and who find joy in another person's win as if it were their own. That's the kind of spirit that builds strong communities and lasting trust. How someone responds to success also reveals their vision of the future. Envious people see success as a closed door that keeps them out, while secure people see it as proof that doors can open for everyone. When you celebrate someone else's achievement, you're not just lifting them up, you're showing faith that good things are possible for you as well. When you resent it, you shrink into a mindset of scarcity that limits your own potential. At its core, the reaction to another person's success is a reflection of maturity. Immature hearts compare, compete, and cling to status, while mature hearts understand that growth is not a race and that another person's rise is not a personal loss. The way someone responds in these moments uncovers whether they are small-minded and insecure or expansive and confident. These reactions are not rehearsed, they are instinctive, and that is why they reveal the deepest truth about people.